So today we are going to be working on another boat. Walk the plank. What happened was, before David's passerelle was fixed under here, the end of it hit the binnacle, smashed this panel. He has actually got a new panel to go in there, but it's damaged it here. There's a big crack down the side and another crack down there, and of course the instrument panel was broken as well. What happened was the board dropped down into that concrete groove, and the boat moved backwards and pushed the plank straight into the binnacle there. Oh, sorry about the background noise. The boys are working with a crane, and we've cut all those big scratches, big cracks out there. See, one of them's quite deep, and this one we had to cut back and feather in, and the same on this one. A bit more work to do yet in bringing these back the right ratio. That one there's okay, and then we're going to have to reinforce the inside, hold this all in place. It's still quite badly bent. And then do the gel coat repair. The worst bit so far has been getting all this masking tape off, because it's been on there 6 months. Acetone and lots of rag has managed to get most of it off. Well, we're going to help him to fit his solar, some fuses, cut off switch, smart controller, and a project box. But this is what we're going to fit today. Let me show you what it is. Okay, so this is a battery extra desulfator. Now, I've got one of these, and I've probably mentioned it before, but they are, in my opinion, a great piece of kit. So if you have lead acid batteries, whether they're AGM or gel, these things are great. I could go through all the blurb, but I'll explain roughly how it works. So you connect this quite literally across your battery bank, and I think this model goes up to 500 amp hours of batteries. You connect that across there, it lights up here, you turn it on, and it basically sends a pulse into the batteries at a very, very high frequency. I think it's 10 kilohertz. And what that does, a bit like getting rid of kidney stones, the sulfate crystals that form in your battery and kill it have a harmonic frequency at which they break up, which is about 10 kilohertz. And so this thing pulses and breaks the crystals up and extends the life of your battery. And we had one 3 boats ago, and it actually brought a bad battery back to life. And we had one on the last boat, we've got one on this boat, and now David's going to have this one fitted. So let's get on with it and show you how it's done. So I thought I'd show you one of the little jobs I've been doing for our buddy boat David. This is his Volvo Penta instrument panel, and he had a bit of an accident where his passerelle got jammed between the binnacle and the pontoon, or concrete pontoon, and damaged not only the binnacle, which we're going to repair, but also it snapped the corners off of the instrument panel, and that's what the corners should look like there. These are undamaged, and these ones we've started to repair them. We made a little mould with some aluminium foil tape, and then we poured super steel from plastic padding, which is an epoxy. Well, they call it an epoxy weld. It's an epoxy with some material in it that makes it go really hard, and it's black. And what we've actually done is we've done the first little casting. We've got to file these down and square the edges up, and I'm hoping we can get this detail in here. But if you do damage your Volvo Penta instrument panel, don't rush out and buy a new one, because you can actually repair it, and I'll show you what the repair looks like when it's done. So we're not sponsored by plastic padding, but good stuff to have aboard. Let's see what it turns out like. So these are David's table pieces, which are all teak. We're going to try and do a renovation job on them if we can. See what we can do. We'll certainly make them better than they are there. It's not your hairdryer. Where the binnacle was punched in, and it sat there for 6 months, bent upwards, the plastics remembered that shape, so now we've got to clamp it right back into position without causing more damage. Okay. It's coming back slowly. Just every now and then just tighten the clamp up, pull it a little bit more. Okay, this is David's battery box. And these are his 2 domestic batteries, and we have quite literally just to connect this across the positive and negative terminals. Now these 2 are wired in parallel, and this is his start battery over here. I think we've been in this position before. You've seen this battery when we tested it for its cranking amps. So this is his shunt for his battery monitor. And you can see they're just wired in parallel. And let's see where the best place to put this is. I'm just casting the second lot of epoxy, and yes, that is my chart table. I've got lots of tools out at the moment, but you can see just made little moulds, cast them in, and then we'll remake it. So here's the pieces of teak. And the top one there has had a repair done with epoxy, and it hasn't been cleaned yet, but the others have just been lightly scrubbed, and I'm about to start sanding, so let's see what they come up like after that. So there we go. After just a gentle sanding, I've managed to clean them up quite a bit, and as we've shown you before, when the teak oil goes on, it will restore that lovely colour. And there's the one that hasn't been cleaned or sanded yet. Now these have come up quite well. So meanwhile, we're back on David's boat. We've done the gel coat. It's had a sanding down. A couple of little pinholes that I've just filled back in, and then used my RYA membership card to smooth it down from last year. So, and now the next thing will be get some 400 grit, wet and dry, and just smooth it out. Then we'll go 800 and then 1200, and then we'll buff it, polish it all up. But yeah, it hasn't come out too bad when you consider how badly damaged it was. We've got 1 layer of biaxial and 3 layers of chopped strand in the back. You can see it in the corner. The bloody pencil gone. Just gonna mark those 2 holes. Just check that these screws, yeah, so we've repaired these now, and it's looking pretty good. We've got to make these holes in this corners in exactly the right place. So I think what we'll do is, I've got some aluminium on the boat, and the back of this is shaped at 45 degrees there. If I put the aluminium across there and scribe that line, what I can then do is cut this piece out, fold the edges up, mark the hole with a punch, and then I'll be able to flip that piece of aluminium over onto the bottom edges, and this will be our template. So, let's go and get some tin snips. What a modern age we live in. Even a hammer has a warning on it.
Do not hit anybody.
Yeah. Mind your fingers. Oh, for flipping heck. So there we are, one coat of teak oil. It's come up pretty good. I'm a bit disappointed with this one. It's got like a stain in there. It looks almost like a cut mark or something, and there's some white marks actually in the grain of the wood, and I don't know what that is, but I don't want to pick them out. And there's the original. So this is literally I've just sanded the joint. If you can see, there is a joint down here where it got broken, so we use slow cure epoxy to repair that. I don't think you'll see the joint when it's done, once it's been cleaned and rubbed down. See the blotching and what have you all comes out. Hey, yeah, I think you'll be happy with that. I'm going to try and do something about this. I might give it another gentle rub in the centre there. I've got to do the back anyway, so yeah, I think that's okay. Just finishing it off with some cutting compound now. Small circles is what I was always told. this is after we started off with 240 grit, then 400, then 800, and then 1200 grit, wet and dry, on a long board, so to keep it all flat and level. It's not a perfect match with the existing gel coat, but it's pretty good. So first job done. Battery extra fitted, turned on and working. And here's the panel all done, repaired, holes drilled. On the left hand side you can see the little template that I made to drill the holes in the right place. And there you can see the corners have all been repaired and come up, and you can't even see where the repair's done. So I'm sure David will be happy with that. And of course our third job done, this lovely teak table. Oh, there we go, Mr. Scott, all installed. Nice new hinge that end. Invisible mending this end. Right, what I'm going to do though is I'm going to change this hinge as well, David, because the reason that these had these little pegs on is because the hinges are so badly worn that the flat comes down too far. And if you look at this one, it's parallel with the table. So I'm going to change this hinge out as well, mate, and then that's it. Job's a good one. It's come up like new, mate. Just these last 4 stainless screws to go in. It's going to be well, I think that's it. Job's a good one. What do you think? Yeah, you can see the repair close up. There's a few little bits of muck on there that just want cleaning off. But I would say that that is 100% better than it was. Yeah, I think David will be happy with that. Oh, another job jobbed. Panel in there because it needs a backing board really. It's some quite heavy, it's quite a heavy piece of kit. Control unit for the back of the boat. So the solar panels will come in here and they're operating at about 42 volts or so. And our, just put that on there, our solar will come in through here on the positive, straight to the switch, through the fuse. Okay, well you can see from some of the video we've just played that we've been working on the next Boat Electrical Made Easy Part 10, which is on solar, and there's lots of it already in the can.
But we wanted to do something different this time.
Go on, you tell them.
We have some very special guests appearing in the video.
Yeah, in the next video, the BME 10, we have some very special guests and some nice video, and we're not going to tell you who it is. You'll have to hit the subscribe button and ring that bell so that you get to see the video. But I tell you, it's well worth watching. So until then, sail safe.
Bye.